Yeah, man. So, welcome to episode number 2 of Black Wealth Matters, the podcast. Episode number dos, continuing from yesterday because he's allowed to say more than one language today because today is over.
Cinco.
Maybe. Yeah, y'all remember the discussion from yesterday that if you ain't got your house together or the value of a house, you ain't allowed to go
sit down.
Yeah, outside of the country. So
don't even drink no Douce. Don't even drink nothing. Don't even eat fancy stuff. Eat bologna and noodles.
I don't know about bologna and noodles though.
I'm just saying. I ain't even gonna do it.
Cereal and
bologna.
bologna.
That's like prison food.
Cereal bologna.
What's his name? Theo on the Cosby Show.
I can live off of. Get my money back.
True. Yeah. So actually, today's discussion, we'll actually allow Deidre. We don't really have a topic today. I'm gonna be honest with you. What we have is ideas that each one of us had in our head, and so we couldn't decide on which ideas, so we decided to set them all forward. But
when to spin?
Yeah.
When to spin?
When to spin?
You know, spin the bottle.
Well, no. I don't know. So basically, this particular subject came up because I realized that my wife thinks that I'm cheap. And basically, there is, I'm banged, by the way. And,
don't be afraid. This is a podcast. There ain't no formalness to it or nothing. It's just a discussion amongst friends. But he's absolutely right. We didn't introduce ourselves. Yes. I introduced the show, which is Black Wealth Matters Podcast. I'm PJ.
I'm D, his wife.
And I'm Bang, as I said. Right.
He is.
Yeah. Give thanks, Malcolm.
And back to the situation at hand. My wife has a thought process of me being cheap. I would more so call it frugal. Not necessarily cheap. Everything that anybody feels or anything that anybody does that may be habitual usually stems from maybe a fear or a past experience that causes them to react a certain type of way. So let me just be transparent. I spent a long period of time in my life BSing. So I played with money. Money was not necessarily an important tool for me. It was just something that I used to feel good. So I used it to purchase my toxins. I used it to purchase people, to make them do what I wanted them to do. I used it to purchase things, trinkets, cars, jewelry, etc. When at this point, I just maybe more so feel guilty because I should have been putting those things or a percentage of those things towards my wealth building. And being as though that I'm older, I feel I have less time. So I'm trying to make up for lost time. So when it's time to get it done, it's time to get it done. And I want to do it right then, build it up right then, and then move on to the next phase and then do certain things. My wife kind of want to do a little bit of everything at the same time. Not really my thing.
I want to enjoy summer life.
You can enjoy summer life, but it's like why cut the string short and then complain about the string being short?
I understand that.
So it's like you can't do left and right at the same time.
Says who?
Says
your finance. See the way my bank account set up is.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I'm not feeling y'all today, so
that's what it is.
I think that anything in moderation, like I'm not saying go out and ball out of control and be stupid with finances or be frivolous with spending. Like I understand being frivolous. Like I am before trying to get myself together financially, I was an impulse buyer. I would just, if I saw it and I wanted it, I got it. I never thought about not having it or anything like that, Joe. If I saw it and I wanted it, I got it. And so today it's a little bit different because I do think about what else I could be doing versus, making that purchase or how to stretch out that particular dollar. So if I'm going and I see, I have a makeup fetish. So if I go and I see some lipstick that I really like, I will ask myself before I purchase it, like what else I could be doing or what I could set that money aside for. So this conversation came up because my husband's birthday is coming up, and I was out with my mom and my sister just now, and I was like, well, I want to start at least looking for some things that I know he likes. So he
what were you
sent me-
thinking about purchasing? How about that?
So the thing is,
let's talk about that.
there was a couple of things.
Okay.
I know that you had sent me the gym shoes a couple days ago, about a week or so ago that you liked. So I actually sent somebody else out on a scavenger's hunt for those. And then I was like, well, I would like to get him some jeans, maybe some shoes, maybe some suit jackets, or something like that. So yeah,
Some suit jacket.
not some, but look at a couple, see what I liked. And so I remember I bought him this dope wool coat. He has an awesome wool coat. And right now it's like a versatile coat. It's something he can dress it up, he can dress it down.
I've turned it versatile.
Cause you swagged out.
No, because I just decided to break it out one day with some jeans, and I was like, oh, you can wear this with
It was
whatever.
dope.
You know
It
what
was
I'm
dope.
saying?
It was dope. But we were in Macy's.
So,
And so I generally don't buy my husband cologne.
yep, baby.
I generally don't buy him cologne. And one of the reasons that I don't buy him cologne is because he's fickle. Not even frugal or cheap. He's kind of fickle. So I know
I think
some
there's a
fragrances
difference.
that
I
he
think there's
likes.
a difference between being fickle and knowing you. Like, I know what I like.
I believe that.
Just like even when it comes to gym shoes or certain types of jeans or certain types of shirts or whatever, I know what I feel fits me as an individual. So very seldomly will I go get something out of that particular box.
Right, but one thing you said about me when my friend came in here and I was like, oh, I like that perfume you got on. Then you was like, my wife needs to stop thinking about what she like on somebody, understand that I'm the one got to smell her.
Okay. And
so if
and,
it's a
and
cologne that I like,
low key, check it out. I wouldn't have a problem with you buying me no cologne. Let me tell you why. 2 reasons. Number one, you are the person that has to smell me. So if you gave me something that you particularly like to smell, I would wear it. Number 2, my sons used up all of the cologne that I had. Right
here's
now.
the other reason why I won't buy
So,
them. They got
I don't have
girlfriends,
any.
They could let their girlfriends
I don't
buy
have any, so it would be
and
nice.
their girlfriends need to buy them some.
It would
so you
it would be
can spend
nice for me to have a bottle.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So, but if I had 4 or 5 bottles, or if I had as much cologne as I did have, and then you went and bought me cologne, I would say, well, what the hell are you buying me that for?
And then I was also thinking about getting you some jeans, some more jeans.
I just bought me 3 pair of jeans.
So let me get around because they're talking about things within their relationship, but we're going to talk about as this relates to what we're doing now, which is Black Wealth Matters. It's the significance of he's saying, I'm not frugal. I do believe that if I want something, I'm going to spend the money on it, but if I already have 2 or 3 of those, does it make more sense for me to keep buying more of these, or does it make sense for me to say, no, I can cut back on these things and put towards my future wealth goals, correct?
Right,
That's
right.
kind of how you're looking at it?
Yeah, I mean that's a basic way of putting it, but it's not even necessarily just the future wealth goals. It's the time is now. So like right now, currently, we working on a home that we purchased, and the home that we purchased is not in tip-top condition. It has to be renovated. It has to have some things replaced and so forth and so on. I don't have an issue because me and my wife are both creative and we have a visual, we have a vision. So we're able to visualize things that may not look good to the average person.
We make
And
it
say,
pretty.
well, hey, we love on this a little bit and it'll be completely different than what people see.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm more excited to get the house finished
Damn.
than per se my wife talking to me about going to New Orleans.
He's so petty.
No, it's just it's
No, but
the
just
truth.
for the discussion
It's the
now.
truth.
I mean,
No,
that's what
I
we're
get
saying.
it.
Yeah.
I
So
get it,
so
and I don't.
she said she'd come to me and say, well, hey, you know, because of the situation right now with the coronavirus and blah blah blah, trips are X amount of dollars. We can go somewhere for a couple $100 and have a mini vacation or what have you. I would say, why wouldn't we just take that couple $100 and keep
Buy some
moving towards
drywall.
our goal with finishing this house?
We could buy some drywall.
So,
we
with
could
that
buy a
being said,
dishwasher.
anybody that does watch, I'm going to listen to this the camera, but anybody that does watch over the course of time that this will be posted on YouTube, IGTV, wherever you find it, leave a comment. What would you do? What would you rather do if you had the freedom in today's time to say this coronavirus that's going around has
you
made
could travel.
the traveling for people, well, actually it's a travel ban, so you couldn't even go
You can't
anywhere,
travel.
but we're going to speak hypothetically. If you could travel and the ban wasn't there and you could travel for cheap, would you choose to put that money towards traveling that could probably get you, because this is a continuation from yesterday, could get you an experience that could change you forever, or
Which
you
they
already
keep trying to explain. Experience.
or
You liken it to a crackhead.
put it
Smoking rocks.
I'm just saying.
life
An
changing
experience is an
smoke a rock.
experience.
Smoking
An experience is an experience. You could have an experience if I slap the hell out of you. It's the same thing. It's an experience. You experience
That's not a
being
life
slapped the
changing-
hell out of.
That's not a life changing experience.
What?
Change you for-
What?
Wait, who gets
You mean
slapped
to
though?
tell me-
Wait, I'm
you
trying
mean
to
to
figure
tell
out
me
who
I'm
gets
talking about
slapped.
positive.
You mean to tell me that?
Right.
Positive
So you
life
trying to tell me
Thank
that
you,
at no point in
PJ.
time did any one of your parents go upside your head and it was a life
Change your
changing
life.
experience?
Not in a positive way.
I didn't say whether it was positive
Well, that's
or
what- that's
negative.
what we
I
talking
said,
about,
was it a
though.
life changing
Well,
experience?
what I'm talking about is the trip will be a positive. That's what I was saying yesterday.
Not
If we throw-
always. Bad things can happen on a trip.
But it would
Not
still be a
saying-
lesson.
A lot of bad things happened when I went to Jamaica.
Lots of
But it
things.
changed
lots
me
of things,
forever
lots
in
of
a
things.
positive way, is what I'm saying.
I
So
agree.
I don't want to stay on that. That was yesterday. But the question is, would you do that, or do you think it makes more sense in terms of wealth building to say, I'm gonna dump every dollar into getting this house project completed first before I think about doing anything else? That's
Because
kinda-
again, we are talking about wealth, minority wealth, black wealth, and it does matter. So even if it seemed like we might get off the subject a little bit, know that our focal point, our center is always building wealth, generational.
It's building wealth, but it's also us being from different backgrounds, being from different upbringings,
Different
talking
individuals.
about finances.
Different
Period, point blank. And how we relate to finances, because everybody has a relationship with finances. I have a relationship with finances. D has a relationship with finances. PJ has a relationship with finances. And all our relationships are different. You know what I'm saying? It's
just to share, mine is pretty close to yours in terms of how you feel about, like, I had a lot in my younger years, like starting 16 in the streets, seeing a lot of money, and when I look now and say 40, like, man, where's all that money gone, and what do I
What did
have
it add
to
up
show?
to?
Yeah, right. So when in terms of, like, now, I am kind of like him, where I'm gonna hold my dollars towards, I don't know, that future wealth, because I don't want to look 10 years from now and say, man, what I could have done. No, because, all right, when I was 16, I didn't know nothing. I know now. So when you know better, you're supposed to do better. So I don't want to spend 10 years from now looking backwards on the way that I look at me when I was 16, especially now that I know better. So I am cutting back on my spending like that. But I don't want to tell nobody not to full joy life, because I think that's the point you're trying to say.
The thing
Like,
is,
it's a
is
balance.
this, is that, and it has to be a balance. So there are people that are extremists, and I want to say I'm probably an extremist. So there's no gray area with me. It's black or it's white, it's hot or it's cold. And so when the money was flowing, and that was probably in my 20s, like, my relationship with money then was like it was nothing. It's money, it's gonna come, it leave, it come back. Like, I never measured money with wealth. I never measured money with building. I just measured money sort of kind of like my husband. It bought people. It brought bad people. Sometimes I had friends, and they were around for whatever reasons they were around. But then when the money was gone and those people were gone, and then I had developed a different relationship because the money wasn't there. And so then when I had to learn that this is what it is, this is how you work, this is what you have. So no, I couldn't go out and buy this and I couldn't go out and buy that. I could, but in my mind I didn't. And I didn't because I felt like, oh, I shouldn't be buying this. I shouldn't be buying.
Let me ask this question, and this is a question that I ask myself. So I just wonder what you may feel about it. So one of the things that I think about when I was younger, I had access to more. What do they call it? Loose cash. I had access to loose cash. Disposable income. It seemed to be disposable income. But if that income had been dispersed properly, would it still be disposable income? So like, for instance, at the point in time of you having money or you having that disposable income, if you had invested a percentage of that money into the stock market, or you invested a percentage of that money into a mutual fund, or you invested a percentage of that money into actually purchasing a home or rebuilding a home, or a savings bond, a certified deposit, or finding ways to keep your money pregnant, would you actually have as much as you figured you had back then?
I would have had more. I would have more.
No, what I'm saying is, at the point in time of you spending, would you have had as much money to spend if that money had been dispersed?
Can I be 100%
in its proper
honest?
channels?
I think that the way that the money was being gotten, I believe that the flow of the money was still there. The flow of the money was still there.
I think you're missing it.
What I think I hear you asking is that, so say I went in the gym shoebox and I got the gym shoebox money, and I went and I blew it.
Okay, let me say it like this. This is the best way I could. Okay, so I started out making $100 a day. That was a lot of money to me. But I didn't have no responsibilities. I didn't have nothing to pay for, and I made $100 a day. When I made $100 a day, every Friday, I purchased me a new pair of shoes. That was my regimen. A new pair of gym shoes every Friday. I would spend one of my days' work on one new pair of shoes, whether it be Jordans, Air Max, whatever. Every Friday, I felt like I deserved a new pair of shoes. I went from making $100 a day to making $7,000 a day. Did I still go every Friday and buy me one pair of shoes? Hell no. I bought 10 pair. And whoever else the hell was with me got shoes too.
That was my issue.
Then it went from the shoes to, well, maybe I should buy a new car every month.
Instead of understanding it. Now, I think when you say that, I think because I often think about it now and say, if I didn't blow that money on bull crap, and I did take that same money and put it somewhere else, that money would have been growing. Like that money, the lifestyle for everybody.
What I'm trying to say is,
you
are what you feel.
Everybody's relationship, and I'm listening, relationship with money has changed. All three of them, I mean, as I'm listening to our testimony. So that, I mean, that's something to get out of. Like, really, what is your relationship with money?
What's your relationship with money? We want to know that too. I mean, what's your relationship with money? And again, one thing that we are here, we are non-judgmental, and we literally want to know, what is your relationship with money? What was your relationship with money? Because understanding where you come from in relation to money, where you are and where you plan on going, has a lot to do with financial literacy. It has a lot to do with it's just a mindset.
One of the worst situations I ever was in which I didn't even realize it at the point in time, but one of the worst situations I was ever in was I had enough money to do what I wanted to do but I didn't know who to call to do what I wanted to do.
Big facts. You know what I didn't like? When the money was in flux the way that it was in my life, what I don't like is that I had a lot of people around me, and I always had a tendency to deal with people who were older than me, who were more mature than me, people who had been where I thought I was trying to go. And the one thing that hurt me more than a lot of things, well, one thing was that, like, literally, most of the people that were around and in my life back then, they still trickle throughout my life even now. But the part that hurts is when I almost want to look at them and say, Joe, you knew when I had that bag, and you knew that I could have invested in this and that. And there was no guidance. Hey, Zeph.
Hey, Zeph.
There was no guidance. There was never a point in time where anybody actually, not that he is avoiding that camera with everything he got in him.
Realize he walking
into the other one. Bam.
But there it is.
And so that's a money man right there.
Oh.
What hurt today is that, like, I know so many people that could have taken my hand, and so I look differently at financial literacy.
I don't think that's fair.
Not even, no, understand me. I'm not saying like, oh, woe is me, but what I'm saying is,
that's not what
me
I'm saying.
being in the position where I'm
that's
at
not
today.
What I'm saying.
I got hit by knocking my head. Like, my head got knocked so
That's not the part that I'm
much.
saying. That
What's
I don't
not
think
fair?
Okay, let's measure it like this. The people that you speak of, what's the number? We talking about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different
I
people?
could name in my life back then, and these are people that were transitioning from the same lifestyle that I was in.
All right.
I can name at least 6 of them on one hand, and they still trickle through my life right now. Now, what I will say is they trickle through and hit me with a D. I'm so proud of you.
Hold on, because we're going to build, right?
Go ahead.
So 6 people, you name 6 people.
I can name 6 off
that
top.
were
It's
in
probably
your life.
more.
That were in your life.
Uh-huh.
More experience.
Mm-hmm.
Came from where you were coming from, and could have guided you in the proper direction.
They were doing it.
Okay. So my question is, 3 of them. Tell me, what are they doing right now?
They are all pretty much still on the path of, most of them are still entrepreneurs. Most of them have graduated from one level of investment to another. And some of them still kind of teeter-totter. 1 or 2 probably still teeter-totter with a hit or a miss there. But for the most part, the ones that I looked at and said, these are my mentors on the inside, like never really said it out loud, but said like, these are people, these are people that I look up to. And I still look up to these people. Most of them are women. A couple of them, my guys.
Some of them looking up at you.
But I looked and said, I needed, like, when I saw where they were going, and I would go and even talk to them and say, Joe, like, I ain't gonna lie, because I don't front. I would go and be like, look, I just hit this nigga stash. I got X amount of dollars, and I want to do something with it. And it would be like, go do what you always do. Go blow it. Go shop. Like, I don't want to shop. I'm trying to, I want to have something for my kids.
Okay, so the thing,
and they wouldn't say it in them words. But what I'm saying is it wasn't there.
The thing is this. Let me ask you a question. If at that point in time one of them had told you like, hey, take that money and go get an insurance policy.
I had that already.
What if they told you to go get another one that you could borrow again?
I would ask, okay, so what am I borrowing? How long? I'm like, I'm gonna ask the questions. What am I borrowing? Why am I getting that particular policy? Because I would say, okay, I already got a policy. I've always had policies. And Joe, like, there's a policy in case y'all got it. So now if you telling me to go get another one, tell me what's going on.
I realize at this point a lot of people that I held accountable for things weren't necessarily responsible to be held accountable for some of the things that I tried to hold them accountable for. Or they didn't actually have possession of the knowledge that I thought they had. One of the downfalls of us being from the city of Chicago is everybody here talk a good game.
Man.
You know what I'm saying? Everybody talk a good game. Everybody is from the land of pimps and hoes.
Fast talkers.
And
everybody.
You talk fast here, and everything is to make you believe what it is that I don't have or what I don't do. prior to you actually finding it out for me to get you out of yours before you get mine. And that's the attitude there.
See, and everything that y'all just said basically started from the two things that we were talking about, which I think is partly the root of this podcast, which is financial literacy. So we were talking about your relationship with money. To me, your relationship with money is based on how financial literate you are. So, as all of us just shared testimony, we had money before we had financial literacy. Our relationship with money was one way, so we blew it. That's why it went away so fast, and we have kind of nothing to show for it. Because we didn't have the financial literacy, as we all have attested to.
Which I also look at that as my testimony time, because I was able to have money and not have money at the same time, because I had it and I wasn't able to keep it, which my financial literacy caused me to lose it. You know that Bible verse that say, "A fool with his money will soon part."
My dad favorite.
Gone fool.
But that's one of those things. So what we want to hope to encourage you out of this whole madness that you're hearing is that find a way to become financially literate. Even if you can access questions, we sharing information, but information is available. Like even just starting as understanding, like with every business that starts, you have income and you have expenses, and it's important because like people will say, "Oh, I know that," but when I sit down with enough artists or enough business owners, they only think about the income. Yeah. So when the expenses come, it's like
a conversation with people who've been there before you.
Absolutely.
Because you could be thinking something like, for instance, I ain't gonna lie. Earlier today, I thought I had a money-making idea, and then I went to the internet and Googled it, and I said, somebody came up with it before me. But I'm gonna share what I thought it was. So,
you calling us?
For instance, everybody says that if you take apple cider vinegar, you lower your blood pressure, you fix this, you fix that, and make you live longer, so forth and so on. Some people put it in a tea, but that is some of the most horrible stuff I've ever tasted in my life. Your grandma made it taste good. Man, that is some of the most horrible stuff I've ever tasted in my life.
When I was sick one time, and I could promise you, man, Big Mama not with us. Big Mama made this apple cider vinegar tea, and I cannot emulate how she made it for me that particular time. But it was the right amount of sour, the right amount of sweet, the right amount of It was delicious, and it was apple cider vinegar.
Well, I was saying, why hasn't anybody turned this into a pill?
Oh, you late? I take apple cider vinegar pills.
Yeah,
and they use them for dietary supplements. Yeah, you could take them.
But again,
they got some with cayenne pepper in them.
Still, he took the steps, now being financial literate, to say, hey, rather than just, I got an idea and I got a little bit of money, I'm just going to throw my money into this idea. He took the time that financial literacy make you do to research. Because you, like, budget. So when we're talking about financial literacy, I talk about income and expenses, but knowing the budget that you have to spend out on whatever it is you're doing. So these are important things to just be aware of in terms of, like, we're saying be financially literate. So when you do come across the bag, you know, as we talk about, you know what to do with the bag so that you don't end up looking back and regret. And really, it will change your relationship with money, because I want all of us to share. I'm going to share my relationship with money now. I just really look at it as a resource that allows us to have the thing that I feel like all of us want in life, which is freedom. We all think that we're chasing money, but what we really is chasing, the money is a resource that allows us to have more freedom. More freedom to do the things that we want to do in life, spend more time with the ones we want to spend time with in life. So ultimately with me, money is just that. It's a resource that allows me to have more freedom. Now, me knowing that and knowing that I have the heart to help people, right? I know that I need this resource to be able to help people and to be able to care for myself. So I'm just going to make the decisions that I make to have, I don't know, smarter decisions in terms of where I'm going to put my finance so that I can build more wealth, so that I can have more freedom to live the life I want to live and the freedom to help people the way that I want to help people. So that's my relationship with money. again. So, because I know y'all was like, well, we asking y'all the questions, but we not answering the questions ourselves. So, your relationship.
My relationship with money. I don't really know. Like, I want to spread more knowledge about where I am in terms of investment. I'm really in a place of understanding and circulating the black dollar. That's where I am. So I want to be more knowledgeable, yet I still want to encourage and show people what it looks like to circulate the black dollar, to keep money in our own communities, what it actually looks like. That's what really I'm more passionate about, that more than anything. If you sell incense, let me circulate my money with you. Let me give you this in hopes that when I buy your shea butter, you take that shea butter profit and you go and buy some forks and spoons from Lulu's Kitchen, and then Lulu's Kitchen comes and she buys some promo from Archive Duplication Company. Archive Duplication Company goes and spends that same money with the Rastapreneur. This for me is what circulating the black dollar looks like. For me, it doesn't look like, oh, I went and bought my bundles from over here, and then I went and bought some Ferragamo shoes. It looks like who in the black community is making shoes, who in the black community is making clothes, who in the black community knows how to bake bread, who in the black community is growing food,
growing weed.
Who growing weed? Stop playing.
It's legal.
But that's my
weed
relationship.
Legal now. It's legal now.
He's so petty, but that's my relationship with money, finances, and wealth. I don't really look at it as a spending thing, and I'm not gonna lie, because I have